So we're interested in looking at behaviors in video games and whether we can use behavioral actions in video games to predict anything like a real-world belief or behavior. So we started out by looking at environmental attitudes. So if we give someone a survey and we can ask them, how do you think about the environment? People might give us answers that are shaded and colored a little bit by their social perception, right? So they might give me the answer that they think I want to hear, or that they think makes them sound good, right? Rather than necessarily telling me the whole truth. So I think games can be a really useful way to get at some of these discrepancies, because it's really difficult to fake your actions when you're playing a video game. You could be playing a video game for just having fun and relaxing. You can play it by yourself and you're not necessarily thinking about the way other people see you. So the core of this idea was trying to look at how we can record actions in video games and whether there would be some kind of way we could test if those actions correspond to attitudes or activities that people carry out in real life. So the first thing that we attempted to do was we took some psychological tools that would be really familiar to psychologists around the world, and we tried to turn them into something that could be played like a game. And one of the things that was really important for us to do was also to make that really fast, right? So we wanted something that could be done in under a minute, right? This was really important so that we could use it in a mobile gaming format that makes sense to people. And we wanted to test it just to make sure that if we give them the really short and sweet version, does that still work, right? Is that still somehow indicative of their privately held beliefs about the climate or the environment? And our first piece of research showed that it did work. So we were able to kind of shorten the research from something that usually takes many minutes into something that could be achieved in under 60 seconds. So that was phase one. In phase two, what we did was we turned it into a shiny, sparkly game, right? So we worked with a game developer who put all the bells and whistles on it. They gave us colors, animations, they gave us a point scoring system, which was completely arbitrary, but it made people feel like they were playing a game. And what we were able to do then was record people's data while they were playing the game, and then test again to see whether this gamey version, this really slick, colorful, animated version, was still reflective of people's core beliefs about the environment. And again, it was, right? It maybe is a little bit less perfect than what we might find in a laboratory setting, but in terms of making research better and taking research out into the world, we've done a really great leap here of making games able to kind of capture something that's really important about humans and their attitudes and their beliefs and their behaviors. So I think the biggest bit of impact is this kind of idea that we can take something that we know in psychology, these kind of measurable constructs that we already know about, and we can put them in real life settings.